supremely confident in his own deal-making instincts, Trump was dismissive of both diplomatic protocol and the nuance and detail of policy formulation necessary to strike complex geopolitical treaties. He instinctively dislikes multilateral institutions and voluminous agreements, preferring vague bilateral deals that can be sealed with a handshake and quickly claimed as victories. A tendency has also emerged of disparaging or threatening rivals, followed by a conciliatory gesture and offer to negotiate on what he perceives as more favorable territory. In a speech 2 days later, Trump invited Iran back to the negotiating table to reach a real deal. Even when he has a valid point, such as the failure of other NATO members to shoulder their share of defense expenditures, he makes it in the most disruptive way possible. His criticism over the past year prompted many allies to increase defense spending significantly. Instead of claiming victory and joining in a show of unity at the recent NATO summit, however, Trump publicly excoriated close ally Germany, threw the summit into chaos by forcing an emergency meeting on burden sharing, and then moved the goalposts at the last minute by stating that allies should double their defense spending targets from 2% to 4% of GDP. Predictably, the performance left bruised feelings and bitter recriminations in its wake. After Trump's private meeting with Putin, his top aides were left in the dark about exactly what was discussed about nuclear arms, possible military cooperation in Syria, and U.S. sanctions. In a post-summit interview, Trump even suggested that the United States would be reluctant to come to the defense of new NATO ally Montenegro, whose aggression against Russia could start World War III. Aaron David Miller is a former advisor to 6 secretaries of state, and currently vice president at the Woodrow Wilson International Center for Scholars in Washington. Even if you believe there is an unconventional logic to how President Trump conducts diplomacy, my concern is that it doesn't comport with the geopolitical laws of gravity that determine how things work, and what actually gets done, he said in an interview. In fact, the evidence continues to mount that he is the first American president in our history who is unable to define U.S. national interests untethered from his own personal interests, vulnerabilities, fears, and likes and dislikes.